What's going on, guys? RBG here, hitting you with something I haven't delivered in quite a while, and it's an actual update on Spider-Man PS4, or should I say Spider-Man PS5, because apparently Sony Entertainment and Insomniac have a sequel coming to the upcoming PS5, and this is some awesome news because last year was pretty spectacular for the webhead. Marvel Spider-Man released to a wide array of positive reviews, and as of today the game sold over 13.2 million copies, making it one of the PS4's top sellers. Sony announced that they were in definitive agreements to acquire Insomniac as one of their first-party developers, making them the 14th internal studio with Sony's worldwide studios division. Hearing this news pretty much confirmed that there were indeed plans for a follow-up to Marvel Spider-Man. Fast forward a few months later and these assumptions have seemed to manifest into reality. But let's go back in time a bit because it's crazy how fast this got confirmed. It was just 4 years ago where we would get a reveal trailer for Marvel Spider-Man, which at the time was named Spider-Man PS4 at E3 2016. Insomniac Games had noted that they had been working on the game 2 years prior to revealing it, and it came out in September of 2018, so they'd have to be working on the game for about 4 or 5 years. So we automatically assumed that it would be a while before we would even get a sequel. But we didn't expect to get it this soon. Apparently Marvel Spider-Man 2 is set to release in 2021. Imran Khan of Kinda Funny Games claims that Sony and Insomniac will shock the world with a sequel announcement very soon.
Spider-Man 2, I think, probably not coming at launch. I think it's a Christmas 2021 title.
Okay.
I think a Spider-Man 2... I know too much about this, so I can't speculate too much.
Okay.
I think a Spider-Man 2 will come sooner than we think.
So as you hear, Sony Entertainment was undoubtedly going to make a follow-up for the 2018 Marvel Spider-Man game. And what solidifies this is when Imran gives a brief pause and says that he knows too much about it. The dude's a big deal in the video game journalist landscape, and he was the chief editor at Game Informer, so he has access to a lot of info that most journalists don't. Except this time he isn't working under the umbrella of a company like Game Informer, so he's doing his own thing. So he can kind of release this info out to the general public as long as he's not giving out too much information. Now, we thought that since the game has been receiving numerous accolades and it took Insomniac 4 years to make, they would ultimately take a break, and it would probably take them the same amount of years to make a sequel, which is roughly around 2022 or 2023 at the very latest. But Imran pretty much insists that Insomniac immediately went into development for the sequel, and I'm not gonna lie, at first I was a bit apprehensive about all of this, but given the fact that the developers have had the PS5 dev kits for a while, and Sony has been working in close tandem with Insomniac Games, they more than likely start working on the next game in the Marvel Spider-Man series. And also, if you notice, although it's been a full year since the game's release, Sony still continues to show it off. For example, back in May, Sony CEO Kenichiro Yoshida demonstrated how the PS5 can render Spider-Man's environments roughly 10 times faster than the PS4 Pro. So the fact that Sony used that as an example suggests that a new Spider-Man game for the PS4 is in the works. Something that makes me even more certain that this game could get a 2021 release date is the fact that Insomniac has most likely gotten into the groove of things when it comes to making a Spider-Man game. Like, you gotta remember that they had to do extensive research on how to make Spider-Man's gameplay work. Things like the web swinging were some of the elements that took them multiple years to get right in Marvel Spider-Man 1. But now that they have that system down packed, it's probably nothing for them to add on top of what they've already built. If they gave us more combat moves and swinging animations along with other features, I'd be totally fine, man. Like, a good facelift on the graphics with additional features would be great. But anyways, neither Sony nor Insomniac have officially mentioned a sequel, and the release dates for high-profile games are always subject to change. So we could be looking at a later launch date like 2022. Marvel Spider-Man's creative director Brian Intihar is pretty vocal on his Twitter account, but he hasn't confirmed or denied any of these rumors. I'm thinking that since the first installment was announced at E3 2016, we could hear about the sequel as early as the Game Awards on December the 12th. But Sony might also be waiting for the PS5 to launch in late 2020 to announce Marvel Spider-Man 2 to further build hype around its new hardware. We already know the game's not going to be ready at PS5's launch, but they could use the title to get consumers to pre-order the console. I wouldn't be surprised if they were planning to sell a Marvel Spider-Man 2 version of the PS5, because before the first game launched, they were selling red versions of the PS4 with the Spider-Man insignia on them in these big bundles. And they sold like hotcakes, like you couldn't find them anywhere in stores or online markets. But man, this is a good time to be a Marvel fan. Like, if these rumors are true, we could be getting Marvel Spider-Man 2 a year after Marvel's Avengers, which releases in 2020. There's still no confirmation as if the two games are tied together or exist in the same universe, but we have our fingers crossed that they are, because who doesn't want to expand the Marvel game universe? I know I sure as hell do. Anyways guys, I want to know what you think about all of this. Do you think Imran is just blowing smoke up our asses? Or do you think Insomniac has gotten started on the sequel and will have it out in 2021? Let me know down in the comments below. As always, I ask that you like or dislike the video. It doesn't have to be a thumbs up, it can be a thumbs down. Any feedback is good feedback and will only help me improve on my channel. But if you enjoyed the video, it would help me out tremendously if you shared it with all your friends and followers on different social media outlets. Sharing really makes a difference. But this is your boy RBG signing out on another video. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.